Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. Right now I'm heading over to the Enderman farm. I think there's an Enderman there who's walking into the water. This thing has been great. I'm really glad that we took the time to build this, and the reason that I'm coming over here is actually to tell you a little bit about my plans for today's episode. And wow, that is a lot of noise. I'm just going to have to turn that down. And if you heard a clicking sound there, one of the things, in fact we'll turn it down a touch more, one of the things that I forgot to tell you about is that I added a burnout clock around the back here. It's a temporary clock that disposes all of the extra ender pearls that come through here. So if I were to go over here and actually just kill a few of these guys, then those ender pearls would make their way through the hoppers and over to the back. And some of them are teleporting outside as well. And yeah, you can see them getting fired out there. So one of the things I need to do is change the redstone there at some point so it's not always clicking, because whenever you're here you can hear this clicking noise where the burnout torch is trying to activate the dispenser. But the reason that I've come over here is because I want to set up a shop this episode, and the Enderman farm is a big part of what this shop is going to provide, because once you've got one of these you can get yourself some feather falling boots. So I've been over here enchanting tons and tons of feather falling boots. Well, I say tons, I haven't got that many feather falling boots, but I have got loads of other ones here that are pretty useless now. Some of those protection ones are probably good, but you want feather falling on your boots, and that's the service that I want to provide. So, oh, and here's Biffa. So every so often I'll be coming over here and getting myself loads of those feather falling boots, because iron is very cheap. We have an iron farm on the server, and then I get to sell them in the shop. So what's going to be cool is the shop itself. We're going to make it look nice and pretty. We're going to do something cool. I found a location at spawn for it, and we're going to do some redstone as well. Now, one of the things that I want to do... Hello. Let's have a look at this. So this guy... Oh, he's a derpy. He's a derpy... Oh, is he? I thought he was a derpy one. He wasn't actually there. But perhaps not. Well, basically, what happens here is the Enderman can technically get onto the ladder from the spawn pad. If they spawn and the first thing they do is move off to the side, then as the piston pushes, if they go off to the side, they can actually fall all the way down the ladder, which is what I thought that guy might have done right there. So that totally interrupted my train of thought. This shop that I'm going to be setting up, yeah, it's going to have some redstone. We're also going to put some ender pearls in there. Now, every time I take a trip back, I'm going to fill up my ender chest and my inventory full of these, and then I'll fill them up at that place as well. So you can go over there and get some ender pearls, which will be good, and one day we will automate that. And we still have a lot to be done here. Do you know what? I keep forgetting to bring over some glass. There's supposed to be some glass on the corner here, and that just feels a little bit unsafe for me. I'm just going to put some cobblestone there for now. And as well as just putting glass in the corners, we also have to build a proper tunnel. Well, it's not a tunnel, is it? A bridge, I guess, over the void from the island, which you can just about make out. All the way over here. We want to build a ice stream as well to send all of the ender pearls all the way back to spawn. That's going to be something new that's only been made possible by one of the recent updates, and possibly when we send ender pearls back to spawn we'll be able to automate getting them over to the shop that I'm going to build, because there are ways of doing chunk loading and stuff, and if that advances and people figure out new things, then it's possible we could do something like that. But I want to say something else before I go here. First of all, I've seen some comments about the water on the roof. Now, when this happened and I realised I put these half slabs at the wrong height, I thought I'd just keep it because it will probably annoy a couple of people, but I'll change it eventually. But I did see a lot of comments of people saying they were annoyed by it, which I found a little bit amusing. It doesn't look that great, but at the same time it kind of adds a little something, I think, as well. You know, you've got all these purple particles and blue ones as well. But yeah, the thing that I wanted to say is that King Happy designed this, and he's now finished doing his tutorial on it. So if you want to build this design right here, that means you'll have the epic spawning platform, which I showed off in the last episode, the last where, you know, I'd done an episode by myself because I've been building with Corrales. And then you'll have a design like this at the bottom as well, where the Enderman can't hit you. It includes automatic ender pearl collection, and it's just a really good farm. And so if you want to check out his tutorial, there is a link in the description box. I really recommend watching it so you understand how the farm works as well. But anyway, I'm going to head back to spawn now, and we're going to get ready to start building this shop. So here we are back at Hermit Town. I was about to say spawn. It's not a spawn, and it's not really called Hermit Town yet. We've been asking for names, but I don't know, we haven't seen one that just feels right yet, so I'm going to call it Hermit Town from now on. And I think that sounds pretty good as well. But over here is where I'm thinking of building this shop. Now, I've been looking around for a reasonable sized area of land, and I think right here is a good place between Justra's building and Red Eyes' pumpkin farm. Now I'm not going to have anything that really sticks out too much. What I want to do is kind of dig into the ground a little bit like I did with the cow farm over there, except what I'm going to be building is like a pixel art feather with some boots, so it indicates that it's, you know, feather falling, and it's going to go somewhere around here. So I want the top few blocks to come up a little bit like that, and I'll probably landscape around it a little bit, so you don't actually see the back of it, but then it's going to go down a fair way as well, so it's going to go down a few blocks here to display all of that pixel art, and so I imagine it will probably go from around there all the way over to here. But what I will be doing is figuring all of this out off camera, you know, where exactly to put it, because we don't want to take up too much space here, but I think it will fit in nicely because you've got this little pathway that goes down, and then we're going to have one that sort of leads up a little bit, and then there'll be a straight walk forward, and then it will go down again, and there'll be the pixel art, and yeah, I think the entrance is going to look quite nice. Enough talking about it really, I need to start making some progress here, because already as I start to talk about it I'm thinking I might have to rethink my plan a little bit here, but I'll figure it out and we will start building that. Now you may wonder why I have 103 levels. That's because I've been getting tons and tons of blaze rods from the blaze farm, and yeah, that's where I've been getting all the XP from. So I've got absolutely stacks of that stuff now, because coal really needs to be used now as a decoration block, because it can be one, so there's no reason to use it if you have an alternative. And so blaze rods are easily farmable, and the farm that we have is really great thanks to Red Eyes and King Happy, who both built it together. I'm not sure, I think King Happy done a video on it, but yeah, just go and check their channels out. I'm sure they've got videos on the farm. And it was over here that I put all of my blaze rods, wasn't it? Yes, so look at that, absolutely tons of blaze rods, which is great. And you can see I filled up my inventory with ender pearls as well. Some of these are for the shop. I've got an ender chest full of them as well. But anyway, enough jibber jabber, I'm going to make a little bit of progress and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so this isn't going quite as I thought it would. You can see here I put some of the pixel art in place. There's going to be a feather behind that to represent feather falling, and the idea was to kind of have this as a sign in front of the shop area, so we'd have a gradual slope going down. This would probably be the lowest area, although in my mind it would be a little bit lower than the sign. However, I don't want this to be too high up in the air. And my problem with this at the moment is it's kind of bold and obnoxious, and unless you've got a lot of other pixel art around it, it kind of looks out of place. But I think I can combat that by maybe lowering it down a little bit and trying to seclude this area, because originally I wanted this sign to sort of poke out of the ground so you could see it from a distance, but maybe that's a little too intrusive. And as well as that, I also think that this is a little bit too dark. Now this is pretty much what it looks like here on the hotbar. I know that's not like zoomed in or anything, so you can't really make it out. Well, actually, it doesn't look quite as dark around the edge, which is what I wanted to change. So there's 4 colours used in total, as you can see on this bit here. But what I think I'll do is just use these 3 colours, because the black is very dark, and especially at night time this thing looks pretty gloomy. So yeah, we're going to change this up anyway. So I think we need to open out this area a little bit more. I think I might move this back a couple of blocks and move it lower as well, so we can have a larger space at the same height in front of it. Although if I'm to lower this down, then I'm probably going to want to lower this down here as well, which means we have to go further back in that direction. So still a lot of decision making to go into the placement of this, but I think we're making some good progress here. So if we come back a few more blocks, this is higher anyway, and one thing I could always do is do a little bit of terraforming around here so this doesn't stick out like it's doing at the moment, because I don't think that looks too great. So we need to go down by about 3 blocks, I think, which will bring us down, well, 2 blocks, so 1 block further down, which means this has to go further down as well. I'm thinking that we might have to get rid of this as a nice smooth slope like this and just make it a quick staircase that goes down. But I don't know, a lot of changes to be made, so I'll see what I can do. Well, I've done a lot of digging, and we don't have enough space here because of this thing on the right hand side. And so really this pixel art is a lot bigger than I thought it would be, and it's starting to become a problem because we don't have enough space to build it here unless we were to continue digging further down and away from this, which would mean the whole thing would be hidden underground, and then there'll be a long path to get down to it. So I'm starting to wonder if maybe we should just set up a small shop somewhere around, well, in this area right here, maybe not all the way down the bottom there, but just a basic shop with some signs and item frames and things like that, rather than going for this big pixel art thing. But there is another place that I could actually build it, and it's over here, and it's the end of the day right now, so I've got some time to think on it. And I get really annoyed with these kind of projects where you're not sure how it's going to turn out. You have to put in a lot of time and effort, and then it might not look so good, which is usually the case with pixel art. But this is it over here. So behind all of this lump of tree, which actually was me, I put down some saplings and forgot to cut down all of the logs. But just over here there's actually a little bit of space for what I want to do, if you have a look here. Now we need an area of land that's about 16 blocks wide, which is more than enough just here. And we want the pixel art to be on display, which it will be from over here, but not from anywhere else really. So again, another sort of feeling about it, because it's just not going to be on display really, unless you come right the way around to look at it. You want it to kind of stand out a little bit, I guess is what I'm saying. But there's plenty of room here, because we can basically hide it underneath this path, or have some dirt that overhangs a little bit, and we don't need a lot of space behind the pixel art either, so that'll do just nicely. But as I said, I got some time to think about it, which I'm going to do, and I got this feeling in my stomach like I might just ditch the pixel art thing because it's going to be too much of a pain. So I decided to go into a test world, and I built the pixel art with the boots and the feather behind it, and it didn't look very good. You couldn't actually see a lot of the feather, and when you put the feather in front of the boots it also kind of obscured the view, and I came to the conclusion that it was too big and it didn't look that great. It looked good in my mind, but when you actually build these things sometimes they don't. So I decided to ditch the pixel art, and it got me thinking as well that the cow that we have over here, it looks really good because it's just 8 by 8, and that's kind of a nice size. It's big, but it's not too big, and what we were building was going to be something like 14 by 11 I think, so it was going to be really big and bulky, so I'm glad we ditched that. And I started building the shop here. I had a big space to work with, so I kind of just built into that space, and yeah, I went for stone bricks, stone and stone slabs, and at the moment everything is looking really grey and really bland, so we need to bring some colour into this room. I think I might need to change up some of these slabs as well, because there's just too many of them in here. But that's where I'm at right now. I've decided just to go ahead with this. We have some lighting bugs as well that we need to get rid of by removing some of this grass. So it's quite likely that all of this is going to come further across this way, and we're going to have the grass higher at this sort of height, like over there, coming all the way across here. So a little bit of terraforming to do above it as well. It's probably a good idea to put some torches around here, although I can't put them directly on top of those blocks. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So what I'm going to try and do next is bring some colour into this room and make it look interesting. So this certainly adds some colour to the room, however it makes me think McDonald's, and this certainly isn't a restaurant. Plus, I don't know, it kind of feels like it's adding colour for the sake of adding colour, so I'm not sure about that. Now this I very much like. Sandstone to the rescue. Always a nice material to build with. It just adds a nice touch of colour and a lot of brightness to this room as well. And I am really tempted to go with this because it looks just ever so pleasing on the eye basically. It's really nice, and from this angle as well, I think you can't argue with that. This room is pretty much looking nothing like I had thought it looking like in my head. Wow, that was a really bad constructed sentence right there. But what I originally pictured was an open top room because of the big sign, and I didn't picture having a roof. And when I say sign, I mean the pixel art. Oh, I'm not having a good way with words today, am I? So yeah, I'm kind of building something when I already had a plan to do something different. Getting a little bit tongue-tied there. Today is definitely one of those days. But when recording that clip, I realised that the problem that we have with this room is with the roof. It is flat, it is the same material as the floor, and it doesn't really bring a lot to it. So what I want to do is do away with that, as you can see I already have, and bring in some arcs. So from either side we're going to have a nice arc that brings a little bit of shape to the roof. But what I want to do is keep the arcs meeting at the same point, at the same kind of height. So the further down you go into the room, the lower it gets, which means the arcs will be bigger on either side, and then when you come back up here it's going to be fairly flat, so not much of an arc at all, if that makes much sense, which I think could look quite nice, possibly could look bad, but we're not going to know until we build it. So two different designs here. On the right we have something we're definitely not going to use, which doesn't look that great. I didn't even finish it. On the left I've tried to get some arcs that come out, but I just feel like it's the wrong idea for this room. I need something else and I have no idea what that's going to be. Also tried putting a wood log in, which kind of looks out of place. We need to stick to the theme that we have going on here, these sort of light pale colours, and I think bringing in the wood just adds too much of something different to this. So I'm really not sure what to do. I'm obviously going to continue trying to build, but I'm just not sure at this moment what it is exactly I'm going to come up with for this. So many hours have passed by, and this is one of the reasons that I get put off by building. I mean, I'm better at interior decorating, but this would have been a nightmare if I was building a structure on the outside. It just takes me so long to find what works, and I decided to give up on the whole arches thing. I did try lots of different things, and I just thought, let's move on and do something a little more simple. So I've just gone for some details in the shape of squares. So we have our first square here, which is very straightforward. Then the one that follows it has this trim around the back side over here, as you can see, and it has glass above it, which I'm actually going to put water on top of and some lily pads, things like that, turn it into a little pond which you'll be able to access from the top. So from up there you can kind of look down into the shop as well. So everything so far is really good. All we have to do now is the back wall, which I think might be a little bit difficult, but I imagine what I'm going to do is dig that way a couple of blocks and then put a load of things on the wall. I think on either side we're going to have two ender pearl dispensers, and then in the middle we're going to have our I've just realised something. This room is too wide and the interface is going to be a chest actually, so we could make that too wide. That's good. So we can keep it nice and symmetrical down this end of the room. But yeah, it's just taken me such a long time to get this bit done, and I'm thinking now that there's a load of redstone to be done, which should be fairly straightforward because I've done this kind of stuff before, but it just takes so much longer than you expect sometimes. But anyway, it's going good. I haven't really done anything up the top here. That's one of the things I need to do next, put in the ponds. But before we do that, I'm going to do the back of the room first. So I've hit that point now where I've been working on this for so long that I'm not sure if I even like it anymore. But I've kind of finalised what I want to do down here. Now I want to put some signs up here with feathers and boots, so it's feather falling, some signs as well. But down here will be where the chest goes. On either side you've got dispensers for the ender pearls. And as you can see at the moment, all of it is pretty moody, but I have done the garden up the top and the terraforming around this area as well. So let's have a quick look at that. You can see it looks pretty nice. Haven't really scouted this out from a distance. I imagine though if you see it from other areas it's going to look like a little bit of a garden. We might want to actually extend that over here as well because there's just plain grass here. But I like how it looks cool. And another cool thing is that the water doesn't drip through the glass, and I've just realised that the other blocks around it, they're solid blocks, but they have half slabs underneath, so we get no dripping water down here, which is cool. Anyway, the one thing I haven't done in this room is the lighting, as you can see, and what I thought I wanted to do, and I don't have the right blocks on me, do I? Let's grab that. We might be able to get away with this. But over here on this level, yeah, I'm going to need to place more sandstone, I think. But here's what I wanted to try and do, is put down the glowstone lamps at this level, just above where I'm putting these levers. So we hold down shift and place them on there, and then put the slabs like that. And that's what I was hoping wouldn't happen, is you get lighting bugs like that. So we can't do that. Well, I need to find somewhere to put the redstone lamps in this room. But what I'm going to do next is figure out the redstone for all of this. I'm going to do all of that and then hopefully it'll be working when I come back. But right now I actually have a clip to show you of me and Corrales on one of the previous episodes that we recorded together. I have something from before where we were actually recording for the episode, which is pretty funny. So you can watch that and then I'll be back with the redstone finished hopefully after that.
No, I'm gonna. Oh man! Kiraz was slain by dinner bone. Dude, help me! We need to catch this guy. He's loose. He's loose.
Oh!
Buddy,
He's after you. He's after you.
No, get him in here, and let me just see. I'm gonna pick up my stuff. Oh, thank you for picking up my stuff.
All right, you need to lure him in there. Right,
yeah, I need to lure him in. Block him in.
He's locked. No, he's not. How did you not?
Do I get? Oh, dude!
And he's coming from me.
That dinner bone guy. I'm coming in. Do you get a glowstone? Because I kind of need a glowstone.
Hang on, let me...
My information...
Go into the middle. Right,
yeah.
Hit him, go into the middle.
Yeah. Let me see
Hit
here.
the guy, hit the guy.
What if it dies?
Right, now go into the middle,
Yeah,
quick.
yeah, 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 yeah. In here.
Oh no, he can't go in because you're in there, so I'm going to have to...
Brick. Oh, dude. Dude, I look like such a hobo in this art.
Yeah, yeah,
All
you
right.
did.
So, have you started recording, by the way? I
Yeah, I
haven't.
recorded all
Oh,
of that,
oh,
that
I
was
haven't started.
fantastic.
All right.
Okay, this is officially awesome. I am really happy with the end result now. All of the redstone works, and I've almost finished setting up the shop. As you can see down there, there's a little opening to get to the redstone bit. But let's have a quick look here. So, Xisuma's feather falling shop, and you can see there both the feather and the boots. And imagine these as pixel art. They would have been absolutely humongous, and I think this is a much better idea. So 1 diamond for iron feather falling 4 plus 1 random enchantments. So all of the boots that I'm selling, sometimes I do just get feather falling 4, and then sometimes I get other enchantments as well. So they all have 1 extra enchantment on, which is pretty cool because I've been over at the Enderfarm getting loads of these ready. So we have our 2 ender pearl dispensers on either side. Walk up to them, get a few ender pearls, walk away, and it stops. Although that's one thing I've noticed. I don't know if this is a server thing or just the way that pressure plates work, but when you walk back it takes a while for this to actually stop, and so it keeps dispensing them. But not only does the stone pressure plate look nice there, the way it goes directly on top of the lighter texture, yeah, it's not a wooden pressure plate, so the items won't affect that. So we have one of those on either side, so you can get a few ender pearls while you're here, and I'll try and keep both of those topped up. And then in the middle of the shop we have all of this right here. So we got the feather and the boots again. Place a diamond in the double chest down below. Then you will get iron boots with feather falling floor plus 1 random enchantment. And then down here it says shop by Xisuma. Only place 1 diamond at a time. So why don't we do a little test. Let's place 1 diamond right there. And then boom, a moment later we get some boots. And as you can see, feather falling 4 and another random enchantment. So let me do that one more time. Boom, another one. And what did we get that time? Protection 3, that's the better of extra enchantments that you can get. So if I were to put all 5 of these diamonds in at once, and we're actually going to do this just so I can show you what happens, I think we'd only get 2 or maybe 3 boots. So 1, and it looks like actually all we got was 1. That makes sense now because the way I've wired it up down here, now this is a standard filter, so I'm not really going to go into too much detail with the redstone, but this bit right here, when you put items, or sorry, when the diamonds come through and they go down into the filter, this signal extends over here. So this redstone torch stays off when multiple items are coming through, so it doesn't detect each unique item, which means it only turns off that redstone which comes all the way up to the top and turns this off, and then you get the item when it turns back on again. So that's why we only got 1 that time. Now the other item that I'm using in the filter at the moment I think is sugarcane, so I need to rename that so it's unique. That's something that I've got to do, but at the moment if someone puts sugarcane into there it will completely break the filter, and then any item will give them feather falling, which would be unfortunate. There's also this chest here which is going to collect items that aren't diamonds, and then the one down the bottom does. So over time we're going to be coming down here. And how did that cobblestone get back in there? That is strange. I thought I took that out a moment ago. But it'll be interesting to see how many purchases people make and how many diamonds we make over time. And I also need to put the feather falling boots back up here. So this is full at the moment. You can see I've been doing tons of enchanting, so should that be. And let's put those back in there. So I've got a little bit more to do because I want to fill this chest up. And then on the other side over here we've got a similar system for the ender pearls, although I didn't have a lot of these lying around, so there's only a few in each one. And then this is very simple right here. This is a torch burnout clock, so there's 3 torches under there, and when you're standing on the pressure plate you turn off this torch which overrides everything, and then it creates a pulse which powers the dispenser. So that is how all of the redstone works. Let's have a quick look at it with all of this patched up. So we should have just the right amount of materials here, and I have a book in my inventory. Now this is something that I probably won't do now, but I brought that over here because I was thinking of, now that I think about it, it needs to be a book and quill, but having a little book on the wall that someone can read. Maybe even a dispenser and then like a hopper to put it back in, but I'm probably not going to do that now. So I'm not going to put an access door or anything like that into this. I'm just going to leave it all hidden, and when I want to go in there and collect my diamonds, then I'll just break down these blocks here. So There we go, that's it finished. Yes, I'm very happy with that. So now that we've done that, what are we going to be doing next? Well, we're actually going to be starting a big project, which is something that I want to do in the next episode as well. So at the moment I'm going to be starting 2 big projects. I don't know how long they're going to take me to finish, and usually if you watch me, you know I like to sort of pick a project and try and get it done within an episode. But these 2 projects are going to be a lot bigger. Now I'm really excited for the next project I'm going to do, so make sure you tune into the next episode because I think it's going to be a really awesome project. But this one right here is just going to be a simple tree farm, which I think I hinted at in the last episode I wanted to make. Now what I want to do is build something similar to what I've done before, but on a much larger scale, and it's going to be designed to collect large amounts of drops, you know, saplings and things, and it's also going to contain a large amount of trees that grow naturally. So there'll be a lot of spaces to put down saplings. And yeah, it's going to be a very big project basically. It's going to be like a big square which I'm thinking of building out here, and so that's going to take some time because I've got to chop down a lot of trees and then I've got to flatten the land out and make most of it level. So from this point on in this episode, I'm not sure how much of that I'm going to get done or be able to show you. There's a couple of other things I've got written down that I want to show as well, but I thought I'd let you know that that's the project that I'm starting. Now I'm not going to start it right here. I'm going to have a look around and make sure there isn't another location, but this is the first one that pops to mind because no one is planning on building over here as far as I know, and it's going to be fairly easy to flatten. There's lots of trees in the way, but you know, when we chop them down we get plenty of wood, so it's always funny when that happens. You're trying to build a tree farm and you end up getting tons of wood just making it. But anyway, there's one thing that I want to mention before I go here, and that is that I've done a survey on Twitter the other day, and there'll be a link in the description box, so if you want to click that, it's just a few questions about how I upload videos, questions about how long you like the episodes. Generally it's just related to my Hermitcraft series, but if you feel like filling that out, that would be really appreciated because it gives me a good idea of what things you guys like. For example, I know you like 30-minute episodes more than most of you like 20-minute episodes, so I'm going to try and aim to make my episodes a little bit longer from now on. So if you want to check that out, there is a link in the description box, and of course you can follow me on Twitter as well. I am quite active on there, you know, reading my tweets and talking to people as well, so feel free to follow me. All of my videos are posted there as well. But anyway, I'm going to figure out what's going on with this tree farm and then I'll get back to you. So, I've been busy. All of the trees are gone now. If you have a look, there's a cobblestone pillar over there, and so, oh, and this one as well. So I've kind of marked out a big square. I'm not sure if that's going to be the final size of the tree farm, but that's something to work with for now. So what I need to do next is kind of flatten this area out and condition it for the tree farm, which is something I'm going to do in between episodes because that's a lot of work and I need to upload this video now. And as I said, this project is going to be done over a few episodes, so in the next episode we're starting a new one altogether. But anyway, let's have a look in this chest. That is all of the materials right there. They just squeezed into this chest, all of the ones that I got from chopping down this area. And if I just hop up here to the hill, let's try not to hit the piggy. Hello. Oh, and I'm sort of derping around the place here. Yeah, if I go up here you can see just over the hills as well, there's quite a lot here that's been chopped down. So yeah, that'll take me a fair bit of time to do. Anyway, for the end of this episode, what I want to do is go over to the cow farm because that has finally been finished. It still needs to be tested a little bit more, but someone posted me a solution and it was a really interesting one actually, because it meant all I had to do was change. Okay, so the change that I've made to get this working is replacing the stairs with cobblestone, which is what someone sent to me in a video, and it works. And at first I was like, well, that doesn't really make sense, but it kind of does, because the fence post acts like there's an extra half slab on top, so when you're in the water you actually move up half a block, and that means when you get pushed into the cobblestone block you then jump up on top of that as well. Whereas with the stairs, what you were doing were moving at the same height into the back of the stairs and then you would clip up. So I'm going to guess that somewhere around there there's a problem that's caused, which means the cows suffocate in the water and die. Now I've yet to see a cow actually die from this, but then I haven't done a ton of testing, so it's one of those things where I'm still working on it basically, but I think this thing is done. What I need to do now is put in a few more breeder cows, which is something I'll probably do in a moment. If you have a look here, someone's come along and thought that you had to kill these because this one was all full up. Now there's only 4 left, so it still needs a little bit more modification and work before it's finally finished. And is there some cows over here? Okay, so someone's been breeding. Let's have a look in the chest. So we will just kill these cows. There you go for that person. So that is all we're going to be doing this episode, and in the next episode we're starting that new project, which I'm really excited for, but you have to wait until the next episode. So I guess, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.